Hello friends, welcome to Code with Srini. This tutorial is the continuation of our previous tutorial, which is Angular 8 FlexLayout module. So we'll be using the FlexLayout module and then implementing a grid layout based on a responsive grid layout based on the mobile or desktop versions. So anyone who is looking out to build something like the e-commerce web applications such as Amazon, they will be implementing such things, like it will be more responsive when you're browsing through your mobile browsers. Alright, so let's get started.
As I've said, this will be the continuation from our previous one. So first thing, we need to move all these header component to a separate core component. Separate header component, such as inside the app directory. And we already got things like material, so we'll just ignore this for now. So let's go ahead and create a new component inside our core. So that will be, so we have created our header component. Let's move everything from the app component. Let's cut this out and then move to the header. See, the source code will be available in GitHub soon. And also we need to add app header in our app component, because we are going to call our header inside the app component. So only then we'll be showing that in our web page, right? So these set of codes are all from the previous lecture. So please go ahead and watch that, so you'll get a fair share of ideas of what's happening in here. Okay, so and in the app component, I've created a couple of things like form control. I'm not going to go in depth and do things, just so that I don't want to break any set of code here. So it's asking for a form control. Now let's add that. And in the app, we also added cdref and media observer. I'm not sure we need that for now. For now, I'm not really sure. And the media observer as well. Show search pane is missing, so let's add that as well. I should have just copied everything from there and here. So, and the subscription as well. So now we are running our application, kickstarting our application. Now let's see what it looks like. Are we getting anything in the browser as we expected? Looks like there might be some sort of oh yes, right. So while we are creating our component, it went straight to the material module. We didn't even notice that. Let's remove that part alone, and it should be working fine. So whenever you have a module inside a folder and you're trying to create a component inside that folder, it'll automatically include that component inside that module. So when you're working on things like this, you should keep a note of it, right? So as observable, yeah, we will come back to this later because this one is deprecated. We'll just ignore this for now, although things will work as expected. So from our previous lecture, this was the working piece, and when you shrink your browser viewport, you'll get only these options. Okay, so now the next bit is we have to create a grid layout. So when you shrink the viewport, everything falls into a vertically aligned stacks. But when you expand your layout, expand your viewport, everything should be in a grid pattern, right? Let's get started on that part. Created something called items and an interface for a sample item, which is just generic, like title, image, and description, and a list of items. In here, it's just a dummy code. In the ng on init, I will be assigning this items to our actual items. All right, so this will be a publicly accessible field so that we can use them in our app component over here. So let's do thing called do and then run a for. In that case, we will be iterating through a list of items. Display the list of items whether it's showing up or not, so that way we make sure that our items are showing up properly. So let's have a title, and we got images as well. So let's do a break rule. Okay, so just run that in our app. We should be pretty much seeing the items that we have. So I'm sorry, like it should be images. It's an image, and yep, we got it. So we know what are the fields in our, what are the properties that item holds. Now we can create a mat card will be, so we have mat card, and then in mat card, so for example, we are wrapping everything inside a do, which will iterate, and then it will run a mat card for us. So we'll move this piece of code somewhere else. So inside mat card, we have mat card header, and inside mat card we have mat card title. We can display our title. It will be item.title. Now let's see how that holds up here. Okay, so we have at least something that resembles mat card. We can also do the same for images. So I'm just going to copy paste from my other code. We got the entire structure for our mat. Now if you see, this is the mobile first approach. As you see, this is our mobile first approach. So we haven't, we still didn't give a directive to show it row wise. Now it's column wise and vertically stacked. So row wise will be horizontally aligned next to each other. We need to find the breakpoint. Yeah. So in the header, we can listen to our subscription. Yeah, we forgot to take our subscription from the header component, or from the app component. We can take the, oh, we deleted that part, right? So we can bring them back from the on init. Okay, so if you notice, we have SM and MD, right? So we can use them as a pointer for our breakpoints. So when our screen goes to MD, we can show them row wise. So we can keep it that way. Okay. All right. To give you a fair share of idea on what type of screen we have, and as per the FxLayout directive, the FxLayout manual says that we can have, I mean, it'll be having like LT, MD, and less than MT, and less than large, less than XL, and you know, more information about the viewport that you're using. So for that, I commented the previous media observer, which was deprecated, and gave a new set of instruction like as observable and subscribe to them. So the change parameter will be like, it's an array of media queries like this. So this will show. So what you're seeing here is actually from the console log that I have provided for the change property or parameter. So it will give a list of information like what is the current screen. The current screen is SM, and it's the minimum width of 600 pixel and goes up to maximum width of 959 pixels. So when you expand and hit a breakpoint, your if you notice on the top corner, right, your width is 970 pixels, right? It goes beyond our 960 and the screen turns into an MD. So MD will be from 960 to 1279 resolution of width. Okay, so when you keep expanding, it will go up to whatever the breakpoints that FxLayout has defined. So this is a neat handy tool that you can use in your application while developing, and remove them when you not need it. Yeah, we have a fair share of information on what sort of a screen viewport we have, and that will help us to build a responsive app. Now if you notice, apart from the, let me squeeze down a bit, apart from the actual information like what sort of a screen we are, we also have condition based information like less than MD and less than, obviously the SM is less than MD, and MD will be less than XL or less than LG, as well as the screen of MD, right? So this block, this portion is also greater than SM and greater than XS. So you have a proper information on what you can do with your components. Right, so let me just split up. Probably an underline will give us a good visual representation in the console log. So this is purely for dev purpose. And let's go back to our template. Now build something. We haven't defined anything as such, what sort of container we want. So we need to create a parent div, move everything inside them. So the first thing we need to focus is we need to define our FxLayout. So the FxLayout will be of row. Okay, so we are in a row, which means everything is stacked horizontally. I mean aligned horizontally. It is not stacked vertically. Okay, this is the first thing we want. We can move on to our mat card, which is this is where, I mean, the parent of our mat card. So this is where we're going to do much of the operations. Now we need to tell FxFlex. FxFlex is nothing but a flex box. If you need to know more about the flex box, you can watch one of my tutorial on responsive navigation. provided more information on what is flex grow, shrink, and flex basis. So this is pretty much about that. Okay, so we are introducing flex, grow, shrink, and basis for now. So the end result will look something like this. Let's modify so that when you expand your viewport to more than, if you notice on the top right corner, to more than 970, it should show us the row wise. Now it's in the mobile first approach. Now let's bring in ng style. No, we don't need ng style for now to give some spacings, but let's give something like for the MD for the medium devices like tablets and other things, like which is more than 960 pixels of width. So that should be GT-SM. So this will take care of any viewport that is more than 960 pixels. So our flex, grow, and basis will be of 33%. Okay, so 33% is the actual size of your width. This will dictate the width of your box, and minus what we'll do is we'll come back to that later. So okay, so far so good. So we got everything. That minus part that we were talking about is the spacing, right? So we need to set the margin and set the negative here. Okay, so for that we have to introduce ng style. So ng style as an input property for GT-SM, right? So for this ng style, we are applying ng style for this directive. So what are we going to apply? So we need to apply some margin. So it could take up margin as a margin property with the pixels. If you notice, the FX layout, FX module is versatile, and you can define your styling, inline styling like this, and then provide a pixel value for that. Okay, so you have given a pixel and it comes up to 6, and same way in the calculation you need to adjust that value. So minus 12 pixel. All right, so you got it. Now your width, so that actually means the margin 6 pixels means on the left 6 pixels, in the right 6 pixels, the margin will stay, but your width, right? So your width will also gets calculated based minusing 12 pixel, taking that 12 pixel from the 33% of your width. So your width will be less than the 33%. Now so the SM work is done. For the SM, it's the natural how you will be seeing your layout in your mobile app. And when you expand your viewport, for example, if you move up towards the tablet or desktop version, you need your listings to show up like this. So this is pretty much it. We need to add couple of bells and whistles for the mobile as well. So let's give a default style for our default inline styling. To set the margin, like we can set it's not really necessary, but if your design needs one, you need to pixel 6. So the overall pixel is 6, and you can also set the margin. So when you come over to there is no spacing. When you come over to the mobile viewport, there is no spacing, so we need to set the spacing for that. So that's the best bet. And you can also use Bootstrap for this. I'm just doing it manually, but if you take up Bootstraps, that will be the more neat solution, I could say, because in rest of my projects I've implemented Bootstrap for that using ng class. So that will be a better option than doing inline style. That from the start we shouldn't be doing the inline styling option. We can just convert them into ng class and then add the Bootstrap classes that necessary for this, right? So we applied a margin bottom of 20 for our mobile view. So this is pretty much it. Did I miss something? I'm not sure. Yeah, when you expand your viewport, if you see all the misalignments going here and there are multiple ways to fix it. I came up with a very, very dirty solution, which is slicing of it. Yeah, slice of 0 and 20 characters maybe. I'm not sure if that works. It looks looks like it works. You can create your own pipe and then show how many characters you need or show whatever like ellipses you want. Yeah, so this way you got your listings for both the mobile, for the desktop as well as the mobile version. So this is pretty much about the FxLayout. So this is the foundation. Now if you can understand the FxFlex, which is the flex box, only then you can build much more complicated, much more complex layouts in your application. So if you need more tutorials on the FxLayout, about the FxLayout gap or an example with the FX column or things like that, just drop that in the comment. I'll make one tutorial up for you. Thanks a lot for watching Code with Srini. Please share this with your friends. Stay tuned. Thank you. Bye bye.